And I mean, when we were researching the crop circle phenomenon back in the 80s and the 90s, we had the same rapport with the circle makers. And I don't mean the people.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the people who are actually making the real crop circle.
Right.
There are two sides to the story.
Right.
And we had our phones bugged. And you know, back then you had your phone bugged because you had the real phone, the landline.
Yeah, because you were one of the early people that was outspoken on it, writing about it.
And I used to throw the wrong information down the phone to all my colleagues, and they'd give me nonsense on the phone. We'd already sent the right information via snail mail. People have to Google this stuff now if you're under 30. And we'd get the information crisscrossed to us, and we're always at the edge and the forefront of communication. We knew where the crop circles were going to be. We knew the information we were going to be given and how to apply it. The government always had to listen in to us to find out what the hell.
So you'd send them north instead of south.
Oh, the amount of times we sent the military to the wrong field, and we're sitting on the side of a hill having a sandwich, watching the British military surrounding the wrong field, and we tell them, you're in the wrong field. We had a lot of great fun, and it wasn't dangerous. We didn't feel like there was a sense of danger, but again, it goes back to what they were saying in the old days. I mean, the Hopi said the same thing about these antediluvian people. They were great helpers who assisted us escape a sinking land in the middle of the Pacific, whose name I actually forget right now, Kashkara. Kashkara. I've got to remember all these names. And that they helped us go from stepping stone to stepping stone because that's all that was left of our land.
Right.
Sea levels rising. And it's because of them. One of them was called Anu Sinom, the leader of their pact, who helped a group called the Hizat Sinom, who became known as the Anasazi, before the Hopi reached the southwest of America where they are now. And they said, they told us not to be complacent every 16 years, move somewhere else, look at the lay of the land and adapt to the land. And that's how we survived these great catastrophes. And look at where we are. We survived for, 8,000 years before white people show up and, the whole thing starts all over again.
All over again.
So they maintained themselves in perfect balance with their environment. And that's what it all came down to. It was the understanding of natural laws, understanding what's happening up in the sky, because you've got to know Earth's place in the bigger system of things, because this happens regularly. I mean, the whole thing of catastrophe from the sky is one of the reasons why we built monuments with big stones. They were going to last a long, long time, and they all are looking at the sky. They predict eclipses, meteorites, the calendars. I mean, the Maya have calendars that go forward to 140,000 years. Why would a farmer need a calendar to tell them what's going to be happening 140,000 years from now? Because you'd be dead. You'd be dead a long time. All you need to do is have a few sticks in the ground to tell you what the Earth and the Moon is doing to plant your seeds. And it was all to do with planning, knowing how to plan ahead, and also knowing that your position in the bigger scheme of things, luck favors the prepared, and some people will not make it, but some will. And it's those that will that you give them the information to make sure that they don't have to start from scratch like children or wild animals. You already are prepared. And that's why we're here having this conversation.
Right.
We could have all disappeared 12,000 years ago, but look at how we've also evolved. So there's always a silver lining to these stories. And that's what makes me very positive about hearing these stories.
Me too. Oh, gosh. I mean, I shouldn't do this to you, Freddie, but you just brought up 3 or 4 different things that take us totally on a different path.
Oh, this is totally unusual for us.
But maybe just for my own edification, for kicks, and then I want to share something. Anasazi. You're talking about the Anasazi. Years ago, I was going to do a documentary with a person I won't name, but that person had access to satellite imagery, and they were an extreme hiker in the Southwest. And the point of what I'm about to say is that we have these large catastrophes, and then we have these mini ages within. And what he had discovered for people that find all the mysteries around the Southwest, like Chaco Canyon, where's that road lead to, right?
Yeah.
And why these cliff dwellers and so forth. What he discovered is that was an inland sea not that long ago. And the Anasazi took off after that drained, basically.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, these little mini events have happened that still remain a mystery to this day, but they're not mysterious. They're actually quite logical. It's hard when your water has drained. You can't ride your canoe in to a boat anymore. You scramble up a crusty hillside.
Well, there's one canyon that I particularly like going to. It's not an easy hike. It's 5 hours with 5 gallons of water on your back in Utah. But I love the solitude. But if you look at all the petroglyphs, and they're actually life-size image of the Shining People, who they call the lookers in this part of the world. They're 8 feet tall, which is exactly how they're described around the world. But if you look at all the petroglyphs, they're a consistent 20-odd feet above the canyon
Right.
floor, as though the people that painted them there, they're
We're standing on
water.
ground.
They're
Yes.
on water.
So this answers a
Yeah.
lot of the mysteries that we still, maintain in the Southwest, at least through formal educational processes. They say, oh, it's a mystery. It's not a mystery. There was
Ask the locals,
there
they
was
know.
there was land, there was water. Okay, another really quick one. Just to go back for a moment, because we haven't talked about crop circles since I first met you 10, 15 years ago. You said you were able to tell when, because were you getting telepathic communications in the day from the circle makers as to where they would show up? You said you would know from them where they were going to be.
Everything. What got me to write my first book really was my association with an incredibly gifted woman called Isabel Kingston, who's, you wouldn't realize by sitting next to her that she's an incredibly natural psychic. She worked with the police, with the British police. Incredible. I mean, they just go to her cap in hand saying,
I've done stories on these people.
Let's figure this
Yes.
out, and she'll give you the license plate number and all of that stuff.
Real deal.
And she accidentally vectored information from this universal consciousness that called themselves the Shining People and the Watchers. And we thought, who? And we can be showing you messengers in your fields about our existence, and it's going to be helping you for this next moment of evolution in your Earth time. And we thought, what the hell are we smoking? Well, it turns out that all the information was right there from the beginning, all channeled. And then the more I got involved with it, and people around me got involved, and we became much more attuned to what was going on, not just mathematically or in terms of collecting seeds and doing the usual scientific stuff, because you've got to do that to bring the skeptics into the story, otherwise
Right.
they won't believe you. But once you realize that you're connected to this landscape of mystery, you begin to be much more clairvoyant with the land. And you can download information to the point where it was actually scary in a fun way. So there was one point in 1999 where I could actually predict where they were going to be, and I'd be off by only 24 hours, only a couple of fields away. It got down to that point. And the idea was, and which they told us afterwards, of course, or the management told us afterwards, was that, we just wanted to let you know that you can do this. Anybody can do this. Everybody has the ability to communicate on a multi-dimensional level of communication. Right. And we're just one of those sources, like many. So we just want to teach you that you can do this. You can get help from the outside.
Yes.
And just because we're no longer alive and physical in your world, in other words, we're dead relative to human people, doesn't mean we can't be useful. We're still on another level helping you out, as we always have.